So the project brought together bamboo experts from India, Ghana, and Bali, together with artist, engineer, maker facilitators from the UK, in an exchange of practice and perspective around bamboo, to explore common ground, to inspire each other, and to experiment with an exchange of practical making skills through an online process. Yeah, definitely something very tangible. So we had never run a completely 100% virtual creative development lab like this one. I mean, obviously, it took shape in response to the third lockdown, so nobody was going anywhere anyway. But to shape an experience like that for such diverse participants in which they were never going to meet in person, that was a real challenge, and gave us the opportunity to really think about how to create the kind of experience that we wanted people to have and how to shape that with the support of digital facilitators. And we lent on people with more experience than ourselves in this area, and that was a very tangible outcome for us in terms of that experience. That experience has made it possible to continue to collaborate with those people and to easily imagine how we could include other collaborators from other countries, because in a way, we've had that very positive experience of working with people remotely who we've never met in person, and maybe we never will with some of them. The fact is that the pandemic has pushed us into a new moment, a new realization that we can connect with people in other countries and meet with them virtually, and it's not the same as meeting in person, but you can do a lot of important work together if you take care with how you do it. So I think that's a really big takeaway for us. I would like to say thank you. Thank you to the British Council for supporting this work. It's been the most unbelievable adventure. It's changed how we think about what we're doing. It's changed who we think about doing it with. It's made it possible to imagine collaboration, cooperation, co-creation, co-curation on a completely different scale, and one in which we're responding to one of the most important, if not the most important, pressing challenge of our times in relation to the climate crisis. So I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, sure. So this was a project where designers, architects, engineers, and all kinds of creative professionals, especially those who were working in the field of art in general, were going to develop something with bamboo. The reason they wanted to work with bamboo was because it's one of the most sustainable materials known to the planet. What was interesting about this project is that where information flows generally go from the global north to the global south, in this project we had resource people from the global south, one of them being me because of my 2 decade long work with bamboo. And so what we were trying to do was to get them to think about what sustainability means for their communities and also for the whole world, and how design, creativity, art, and all of the creative kind of professions can come together and contribute to solving the problem. I was part of the technical backstopping team. So we had because bamboo doesn't grow indigenously in the UK. So for people who have never worked with the material to kind of envision, because you work with wood, you work with plastic, you work with metal. So the idea was, how can you, through this remote kind of a setting, help them understand how to work with bamboo. So I was talking to them about bamboo. The other area I was technically backstopping them was sustainability, because the idea of sustainability in the global north is very egocentric, because they have things like social systems in place. It's not like people are dying of hunger on the large scale that they are in the global south. So to help them understand that the perception and conceptual kind of framework of sustainability is different in the two settings, and also to talk to them because our backgrounds are similar. I'm an industrial designer, and they were also kind of circling around industrial design. So to backstop them at the intersection of bamboo sustainability and design. So a lot of my work has been work with communities who are indigent. Like they are very poor in terms of economics, but very rich in terms of cultural capital. Um, in the case of the industrialized world or the global north, it's exactly opposite, right? Because culturally there is so much of a loss and a deficit because of the process of industrialization, but economically you're really like rich. So for me, it was very interesting to look at these angularities and wonder if putting our heads together, if that were possible to come up with a solution that works for both. Because I don't think that sustainability is ever going to be solved within some kind of a geographical region, because the Earth's biosphere is not geographically divided except by human beings. I mean, you can't see anything except the Great Wall from space, anyways, right? Actually, the entire online platform has been something that I have personally not enjoyed because I'm a really hands on person. But this was one time when one realized that. So, I have worked extensively in the international development sector, but it always meant getting on a plane and going somewhere in Asia, Africa, Latin America, or Europe, you know. But this was the one time where we could work together without actually physically changing place. I mean, I know it sounds really simple and silly because everybody around the world is Skyping and Zooming and doing all of this stuff, but to actually do a like process based, conceptual development based, innovative kind of an exercise was something really exciting for me. So in that sense, yeah, it was a huge learning for me that that is possible. And also a lot of the insights that the participants had, the questions they raised made me realize that, you know, so many things, so many types of knowledge that one takes for granted are not actually so evident to somebody else. So I mean, both ways, you know. So it was really exciting for me to realize, to articulate the small stuff and listen to other people's articulations of the small stuff. I mean, what I've been saying about the British Council's work is it's always about meaningful projects and meaningful collaborations. And I think that there's also a lot of space the British Council gives to these projects to do things. So it's not like this project would not have happened without the British Council or whatever, but it was definitely easier. And I think the output was much more exciting than it would have been in a very more conservative and orthodox kind of institutional framework. I think that a skill that I have learned is empathy. And that's really strange, like being a designer, to say that I learned how to be empathetic because you're inherently supposed to be empathetic. But I think that the sustainability crisis is something where all of us don't know what to do. You know, so it's the greatest equalizer because we're all going to die together kind of situation. So, so I think that um, having the ability to empathize with the other viewpoint to reach a productive endpoint is what this has really taught me to do. You know, like to put baggage aside, to put history and geography aside, and to just kind of work together for something. And again, this is something so basic and so silly, but I think it's also very important.
I think this work with the international partners probably wouldn't have been able to happen without the financial support of the British Council. They were very clear, I think, in setting a framework for the project through which the partners were to be really fundamental and instrumental in shaping it, and also were to, you know, have benefit back from the project. And I think that was really helpful in terms of us thinking about how do you work with people in these places and what will that contribute to the wider project. So I think for me,
the likelihood is, had British Council not supported it, we would still be developing the wider creative project, but it would have been not nearly as exciting, inspiring.
I think we're just at the very beginning of it. We have begun to see how their skills and knowledge of bamboo has begun to influence our artists and their practice and the way in which they've been able to engage communities in feeling just as excited and passionate about bamboo as we do. So it's kind of come from that tradition of craft and skill that I think we don't know enough about. We've kind of lost, in a way, some of the traditions, and it's bringing them back to life, engaging our artists and then engaging our communities.